Yeah, my computer has a little problem. I'm not quite sure what's going on. It just seems like a little bit slow than usual.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been there for about a week. All right. I think we're here.
By the way, it's a beautiful photo behind you.
Thank you so much.
Is that your
Very
house or
clean. No, it's just a picture.
oh, somebody
Yeah.
else's house?
Yeah. Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cheyenne's Forum. Today is November 19th, and we're here in with my dear friend Tom. Tom, how are you? It's nice to see
I-
you.
I'm fine. Good to see you.
Oh, thank you for coming. And Tom is my dear friend, and he worked in FBI for 30 years, and then he worked as a assistant director of FBI for 5 years, and he's retired now. And he will give us a lot of information, and he's analyst of the current affair. And this is in the U.S. and also in the world. It's a very a good thinker observer. And thank you so much, Tom, to come to our program and talk about FBI. So, Tom, I'm actually waiting for the name of the director of FBI, the new FBI, for a week, but still we don't have the name. I just wonder why it takes so long for Trump to appoint this person.
Well, I think probably because it's so sensitive, whoever runs the FBI.
Mhm.
Um, and I think he's very concerned because the last time he appointed a director of the FBI, he turned out to be no good. That's Christopher Wray.
Very
So,
bad.
so Trump in the first administration fired James Comey
Mhm,
deservedly.
mhm,
And then he took bad advice from Chris Christie to hire Christopher Wray. And
mhm,
he did that. And Wray was qualified on paper. He was an assistant, deputy direct criminal division of Department of Justice. So he had the experience. Yet
mhm,
that was the same position that had previously been held by Comey, been held by Mueller and
mhm,
others during the years. So he was technically qualified. It's
mhm.
just that I think Trump and the rest of us had no idea that he would give in to Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, and Joe Biden,
Mhm,
and turn the FBI so political as he did. So
mhm.
I think this time around, I think Trump is being very cautious. It's one of the most sensitive positions in the government,
Right.
highly respected worldwide,
Mhm.
and I think he got burned last time, and I think he's trying to avoid that this time.
Okay, I see. So the CIA is the same situation, but it's pretty quick for him to pick up the CIA director, but not FBI.
Yeah, and in a way, the CIA director is easier to fire and
Oh.
select a new one and all of that. I think that the FBI director is in a little bit different situation
Okay.
because the FBI director is in a position to prosecute, to investigate and have prosecutions of people that are against the administration, not just lawbreakers, but political enemies of
Mhm,
the administration. And that's something that we've not seen anywhere near to the
mhm,
extent that we saw it during the Biden administration, still ongoing, as a
mhm.
matter of fact. So I think that may be a big part of it.
Okay, yeah, it's very complicated.
So the typically what they do is they float a name, trial balloon, and
Uh-huh.
knowing that all of the media, everybody's going to look up every possible dirty thing about that person to use against them. And so
Mhm,
they wait that way, they're using the media and other sources to help vet the candidate to see what's good and what's bad about that particular candidate.
sure.
We're seeing that to a big extent with Matt Gaetz, his
Hmm.
nomination to be Attorney General.
Right.
But for the FBI director, we'll see. I think he wants to really see what
Okay.
is out there that he may not be aware of or the public may not be aware of that
Mm.
might surface in the nomination of the FBI director.
Sure. Do we have some names? Do you know some names already?
Well, a couple of names. One is, I've heard Kash Patel. is
Right.
one example, and who's a great guy. And
Mhm.
another one is Mike Rogers. Now, there are two Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers, that we're talking about, had been a member of the House of Representatives from
Mhm.
Michigan for several terms,
Mhm.
and Rogers is a good personal friend of mine. He and
Oh,
I worked together on the same squad in the FBI office in Chicago, and
uh,
he was a terrific agent. The big
great.
organized crime case that he had and he oversaw
Mhm.
concerned the city of Cicero, which is on the western edge of Chicago, and
Mhm.
how it had been dominated by the mafia, starting with Al Capone in the 20s and 30s,
Mhm.
extremely corrupt. And in his case, he convicted a number of senior officials of the Cicero government, the police department, and
Mhm.
others using the RICO statute. It was a tremendous investigation, highly successful. Now,
Mhm.
once that was completely finished,
Mhm.
um, resigned, I mean, from the FBI and returned to his hometown in Michigan, where then he ran for Congress. So in his hometown in Michigan, and his mother, I think, had been very involved in Republican Party politics uh,
Mhm.
when Mike was younger. But in any
Mhm.
event, Mike runs for Congress and he gets elected, and he
Mhm.
serves two or three at least terms.
Mhm.
And at the end, he was chairman of the House Intelligence Committee,
Oh,
which is a very, very powerful, prestigious position
mhm.
within the House of Representatives.
Right.
So
Well,
in the most
outstanding.
recent election, he ran for senator from
Mhm.
Michigan,
Mhm.
and apparently did not win, or there's some question about it. But in any event, Mike was an outstanding FBI agent
Mhm.
and very professional, very accomplished, and just happens to be a very good friend of mine.
Well, well, if he's become a director, maybe he asks you to go back to FBI to do some job, which you probably will agree, right?
Well, don't say that out loud. That might sabotage his nomination. Um,
All right, we'll
but
see.
yes, if
That,
I'm asked to serve in any capacity to
mhm.
help the Trump administration, I will do it.
Oh, great, thank you. And how about Cash, the gentleman that you mentioned?
He has, a lot of people don't know about him because he has a great background. He
Mhm.
had been a Department of Justice attorney
Mhm.
specializing in terrorism cases, counterterrorism investigations and prosecutions. Did a
Mhm.
very great job there. Then he was appointed to be uh, an advisor, assistant at the Pentagon to the Secretary of Defense,
I see.
and he was very successful there. And then later on, of course, because he was seen to be pro-Trump, then you have the whole
Mhm.
political army against him, trying
Mhm.
to say he's not qualified to serve in that position. But he's been a prosecutor. He's been in the Department of Justice and the Department of
Mhm.
Defense. He's very knowledgeable. He's really outstanding. He's an outstanding individual.
Mhm.
I was fortunate enough to meet him
Mhm.
during CPAC, the Conservative Political Action Committee, during
Right.
their last convention in Washington, D.C. this past February. And
Mhm.
so he's very, very highly regarded.
Right. I saw a couple of video talking about him, and he just gave his speech and thought pretty intelligent and smart guy.
He's
And he,
very, very intelligent, very articulate.
right. It
So we'll
looks
see. We'll
pretty
see what
young, right?
happens between the two of them.
Right. So he seems pretty young. Huh? Is at his 40s?
Yeah, I don't think he's quite, well, okay, maybe late 40s, approximately.
Okay. Yeah.
But that's not, you have to realize for special agents of the FBI, like
Mhm.
me, we had to retire the month we turned 57.
Right.
So when you're in your late 40s, I had become a member of the senior executive service my
Mhm.
last 11 years. So that means in 1946, 2000, 26, I became a member and was in that position all the way until I retired. Later, the last 5 years as an assistant director running international operations. But so in a way, it's an interesting thing in the U.S. government, how young many of our executives tend to be. Now, when I was running international operations for the FBI, my last 5 years, during that time, and I was also on the executive committee of INTERPOL. So here I am, early to mid 50s, and I'm dealing with my counterparts around the world, heads of law enforcement, ministries of justice, and my counterparts were typically mid 70s. So I'm 55, they're 75, and that was typical. So, what you had to do, obviously, was earn their respect and let them see that you were professional, you were qualified, you were competent, and then they would listen to you and treat you, with respect that you deserved, but not at first and not automatically.
Well, but it's pretty interesting. See the people that President Trump picked right now for his cabinet. They're so young. They're like 80s, mid 80s. I mean, they're born in 1980s. Lots of them. Yeah. So they're 40s, pretty young.
Right.
The high position. And when we talk about that, I'm thinking about the Matt Gaetz. It seems the whole town just turned against him so dramatically. And
I think part of that is that they are scared to death of him.
Oh my God.
If you recall, and some of the YouTube channels have been showing clips of his questioning of various people during congressional hearings over the last couple of years. For instance, one of the top people that he grilled, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General. So it's interesting.
To watch that.
He would be nominated now for Attorney General. He went after Merrick Garland tooth and nail, and Garland deserved it. Garland, is one of the most political attorney generals that we've had in a long time.
Exactly. So do you think that he can become the next AG?
Well, that's a different question, because the Democrats, the progressives, the liberals, they are going to do everything they can to try to keep him from that position, because they know that he would be in a position to go after many key people. Because here, the Democrats have gotten used to, especially during the Biden administration, controlling the Department of Justice, controlling who they go after, who they prosecute, who they declare enemies of the state. And that's everything, not starting with Trump all the way down, including citizens that are pro-life people. Oh, go after them. We can't have that. Or other conservatives that they've gone after. And of course, the J6, that's a whole other category. So I think that interesting about Gaetz, by the way, many of the J6 prisoners, after being convicted, were locked up in the D.C. jail. And I had been to that jail many times. There's a whole delegation of people that go there every night. And, basically show respect to the J6ers that are in jail there. One of the people that I've gotten to know there is Ashley Babbitt's mother, goes almost every night. And of course, her daughter, Ashley, was shot and killed, I think, inappropriately by a DC cop when she was standing in the doorway of the Capitol. And so were others. And he happens to shoot her in the neck and kill her. And basically, the net result to him was he got promoted. So you've had the contradiction. Out of all of the people who have supported J6 convicted people who are in the jail, of all the people, Matt Gaetz is the only member of Congress who actually went to that corner called Freedom Corner, just outside the DC jail. Now, I wasn't there that particular night. I can't remember. I think I was traveling, but in any event, he went to that site and again pledged support for the J6 convicted prisoners. And again, that's another, he's in a position to unravel that whole prosecution of them, the
Right.
facts that came out, all
Right.
of that.
Right.
And they're scared to death of him. The progressive liberals are
Right.
scared of Matt Gaetz. That's why they don't want him. They're as afraid of him almost as Trump.
Yeah. Yeah.
Afraid of Trump, afraid of Gaetz. And I think that's what Gaetz is going to be up against, that they're going to do everything possible to keep him. And that'll include, which is not surprising, there'll be accusations that he
Yeah.
raped babies or did, terrible things. And that'll be the next thing, to try to keep him, take out his reputation, so that makes it easier, let's say, for Republicans to not support him.
Right.
And if that happens, he won't be confirmed.
But yeah, that's the problem. And then even Mitch McConnell come out twice and said Trump will not get the vacation nominee. So he is almost can't say any words. Did you see him? He speak for one sentence and then he just frozen there. So he's totally like lost his mind. Yet he came out twice to try to stop it. So we just wonder who is behind him. We personally, I don't think he can think functionally.
Well, we could start with, among the usual suspects behind McConnell has been the government of China, the CCP.
Yeah.
His wife, Elaine, had served in 2 different administrations, and her father owns a large maritime shipping company in China. And they get all kinds of contracts from the Chinese government. And as a result, McConnell and her get all kinds of contributions to them from China.
Right.
And one example is that I think it's about 15 years ago now, when McConnell and Chow got married, and I think their wedding was in New York City. When they got married, all the senior higher-ups in the Chinese embassy went to show their respect. So the ambassador and other senior officials from China went to show support for them. And that's why over these last couple of years, you see very little, if any, criticism of the CCP, what they've done or how they do it or any of that. Right. And of course, little to no support of Trump during the first administration when he was trying to put tariffs and sanctions on the CCP.
Right.
So you see that McConnell was one of China's strongest allies in Congress. And oh yeah, by the way, he and his wife have made millions of dollars through her father in his business relations with the CCP. So so McConnell, he has such a shady reputation.
Bad.
And yet, they're going to try to use that against Gaetz or anybody else that they don't want.
Right, right. So I just saw President Trump said he can use a law, it's 1998 law, that gives the president power to nominate a person for 210 days. And then after that, they can extension for one time. And then it totally give him 420 days as the
that's called a recess appointment.
Okay.
And
so
what McConnell did during Trump's first term was he never had a recess. Now that law, by the way, requires that the House and Senate are both in recess, not one or the other, both. Now typically they go on recess during the summer, vacation in the summer, or Labor Day weekend, or some of the Christmas. Now they'll go on. But once the term begins in January, there's really no major holiday. Maybe Easter, but that's kind of, a Christian holiday. There's no real holiday coming up in the near future that's long enough to say, okay, they're going to take 2 weeks off and be in recess.
Right.
And they don't need to do that. They can say we're in session, even if we're not in the building. We're technically in session. And that's what McConnell did during Trump's first term. So that'll be very difficult. If Trump gets the opportunity where both chambers are in recess, he gets that opportunity. Let's say he tries to appoint Gaetz. That's only good for so long. It's not good for the next 4 years while Trump is in office. So we'll see how much hardball politics is played between Trump and the Senate in particular, or the House of Representatives. And I think that McConnell, he's not going to have any power. Starting
Exactly.
in about January, he's out.
Yep, exactly.
So now it'll depend. Now Thune, the senator from South Dakota, is
Mhm.
now going to be the majority leader of the
Right.
Senate.
Yeah.
Now, how much of a rhino is he? How
hmm
much will he cooperate with Trump?
hmm
That'll remain to be seen. We'll see.
Right. Well, he's saying something that I will cooperate with Mr. Trump, President
Oh,
Trump.
they'll say that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
saying
he's a
good.
loyal Republican and
Yeah.
he'll do the right thing for Trump. We'll see.
Totally.
Maybe he will, maybe he won't.
Okay, we'll see. So this is a big question mark. Well, we have to wait and see. And
Right.
talk about the Russia and Ukraine. So the situation is changing daily. And we know that Biden administration agreed Ukraine to use the 300-kilometer missile to attack Russia. So it will raise the situation of the war zone, which is not good news. However, I just watched a little news this morning, about 2, 3 minutes. The minister of the foreign affair of Russia said that we heard that American agree with Ukraine to use the 3-kilometer missile on Russia soil. However, we are not get the confirmation from White House, neither Pentagon. Plus, this morning, when Ukraine attacked Russia, they are not using the 3 kilometer missile. So we'll wait and see, and we'll do something accordingly. So then, this is a huge question. What's going on there?
The question is, and it's a good question,
Mhm,
is Biden trying to start World War III
mhm,
in the last 60 days of his term as president?
mhm,
Maybe yes, maybe no. The
mhm.
advantage to yes is, the Democrats have done everything they can think of to try to keep Trump from returning to the White House. And they
Yeah.
even say now they're going to keep him out of the White House to this
Mhm,
day.
mhm,
Now, a couple of techniques that they could use is first week of January, the Senate will go back into session to hear the selections of each state, their
mhm,
electors.
mhm.
And their electors will then certify that they're casting their electoral vote for
Right.
Trump. And
Mhm,
that would certify. Now, back in January 6th, 4 years ago,
mhm,
that's when we had the big riot at the Senate, at the Capitol. And
mhm,
then Pence, the vice president, stopped the counting.
mhm,
And then they waited 4, 5, 6 hours, cleared out the building and all of that, then resumed the count. And by
mhm,
that time, Pence said, okay, they're all going to be certified,
mhm.
making it final, basically, that the electoral vote
Right.
for Biden succeeded.
Mhm,
So now my question is going to be, and I think everybody's question should be, they have run out of options to keep Trump out of the White House.
mhm.
The electoral count on that day, which, by the way, will be run by Kamala Harris, the
Yep.
vice president, just like Pence did last time.
Mhm,
But, Trump had been saying all during the campaign, it's got to be too big to rig.
mhm,
They've got to have so many electoral votes and the popular vote for a mandate that
mhm,
really the Democrats are going to be stuck having to go along with that. So
mhm,
that's a possibility. So
mhm.
another possibility is Biden wants to actually end up in a shooting war with Russia directly. Now, right now, we've been doing it indirectly. We give the Ukrainians these long-range missiles,
Mhm.
and they don't have the technical ability to fire them.
Right.
And
Exactly.
we don't train them so that
Mhm,
they can, because so many of them have defected to Russia
mhm,
that they don't want to take the chance. So
mhm.
we have U.S. military, U.S. advisors operating those systems,
Yep.
U.S. military downloading the mapping coordinates from U.S. satellites in space to
Mhm,
be able to pick where they're going to launch those missiles at.
mhm.
So That's a big factor.
Mm-hmm.
And so now Biden basically has given Ukraine permission to use those missiles directly against Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically an act of war of the U.S. declaring war on Russia.
Mm-hmm.
Now what'll Putin do? Putin is going to be basically backed into a corner where he's going to have to retaliate and say, and he has said that he's going to run out of patience,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to retaliate against the countries that help
Mm-hmm.
allow this, to help supply people and personnel and equipment to wage war directly on Russia.
Right.
So that could happen. Now, if that happens, would Biden be in a position to declare martial law in the United States? Okay, that's it. No inauguration. Yeah, Trump won. We're not going to certify his electors, and we're not going to have a ceremony on the Capitol on January 20th.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, I'll stay in power, But in any event, the main goal isn't for Biden to stay in power,
Right.
or Kamala to get it handed to her.
Mm-hmm.
It's to keep Trump out of the White House.
Mm-hmm.
And a good way to do that will be have the U.S. at war with Russia directly,
Mm-hmm.
and push Russia. And I think that Russia knows that, which is why they haven't retaliated
Right.
up till now.
Right.
So, Russia's in a position that if that all happens, already with the missiles being launched into Russia, they could easily retaliate against NATO.
Mm-hmm.
They could retaliate against the U.S., against these other, wipe out cities in Europe without even using nuclear weapons.
Mm-hmm.
They can use, hypersonic missiles
Mm-hmm.
with a lot of explosives and basically still reduce London or Paris or Berlin or Warsaw to rubble.
Mm-hmm.
Now, technically, they could launch hypersonic ICBMs to the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it would take those missiles 30 minutes to travel from Russia to the U.S., there'd be no stopping. The U.S. is not in a position to really stop them.
Mm-hmm.
So that Russia could directly target U.S. cities
Mm-hmm.
If they want that. So Biden is playing an extremely dangerous game.
Mm-hmm.
And Russia's taking, is like, oh, they're bluffing, or we're conducting foreign policy like Russia's bluffing. Oh, they won't retaliate. Oh, they'll just, do what they've been doing. Well, maybe yes, maybe no. And I think that the maybe yes part of it is that Russia knows theoretically 60 days till Trump takes office.
Yeah.
So hoping that they can outlast everybody and have that happen.
Right.
But Biden's in a position to unilaterally start World War III.
Right.
And he's come dangerously close up till now. He gets closer and closer each day,
Mm-hmm.
and it could happen.
Yeah. So it's depends on Russia's patience and how can Russia handle the situation, which is the U.S. like the Biden administration and some other force behind him try to push Russia and try to have Russia engaged into the war,
Right.
high level war. So we'll see. So the gentleman Minister of the Foreign Affairs said that it did not get confirmed from White House or Pentagon. Maybe it's a strategy because he said they got the information from New York Times, not from White House, not from Pentagon. So maybe this is a strategy. Just don't admit that they got this kind of challenge. Is that possible?
Yeah, I think it is. Almost
Right.
everything's possible.
Right.
Now, the question is, we don't know what Biden wants to do or not want to do, because you've got the Secretary of State, who is pretty much an idiot. Jake Sullivan, National Security Advisor, he's absolutely an idiot. So you've got these guys really running our foreign policy. Lloyd Austin, Department of Defense, can't trust him. So, is Biden just along for the ride as a puppet? Probably.
Yeah.
So in that group, who's really in charge, if anybody? So I think that Putin is really in a difficult situation because he does not want war with the United States, particularly with Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Biden, he doesn't want it with Biden either, but Biden keeps pushing this. And I
Right.
think that part of the the reason that the Russians are stuck is because they know that this offensive move by the United States against them can only be done by the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Ukraine doesn't have the technicians or technical capability to do
Right.
it.
Right.
Ukraine doesn't have direct access to our satellites, and we're not going to train them and give it to them because
Mm-hmm.
we don't trust them.
Right.
Especially, we don't trust the fact that so many of them have defected to Russia.
Right. Right.
So we give Ukrainian officials our top secret technology. They're
Mm-hmm.
liable to just take it right over to the Russians and say, "Hey, look what we've got."
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's where Putin is gambling
Mm-hmm.
that he can outlast this long enough. We'll
Yeah.
see.
We have 60 days, exactly 60 days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see. And also I saw Soros, Alexander Soros. He actually said a few times that the most dangerous thing right now faced to American people is another pandemic that's more serious, more crazier pandemic or hate American soil. So I don't know if he's just a threat us or he just gave a warning that if you guys don't follow us, we'll show you our power again. Do you think
Yeah.
these people can want to do it again? They really dare to do it again?
Well, I think they want to, but I don't know if they can do it. They can actually carry it out. It depends. They don't have allies in our health system like Fauci, like some of the other people
Mhm.
that really enabled that to happen. So I don't know.
I see. I see. Yeah, Tercy, she actually mentioned that there are so many lab at Ukraine and around the world. And she argued to close the dangerous lab as soon as possible. They're doing some experiment inside, and which is extremely dangerous. So it is something we probably need to worry about a little bit. You want to take some
Yeah,
few minutes?
excuse me, I don't know where that's coming from. Can we pause a minute?
Yeah, no problem. Then I can talk to my audience still.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Yeah, Tom 有一点事情 he has something need to discuss, maybe 3 minutes, then he will come back. So that's the situation we're now in. One is the Ukraine and Russia war. And obviously the American Democrats, specifically Biden administration and the people behind him like to raise the world. And Russia, of course, know that. So the problem is how can they handle it? The very complicated situation. And of course, it's depend on how bad the push will be from U.S. part, from Biden administration part. They don't care about American people. They don't care about Russian people. They don't care about Ukraine people. The only thing they care is raise the wall, and then with the martial art, then they can stay in power. They try every possible way to keep Trump away from White House. Even he win a lot. Even American people already tell the Biden administration, the Democrats, that what we choose as our president, they don't care. They want to stay in power. So they will do anything possible to keep themselves in power. Even the method maybe hurt the world. They don't care about that. And also for the gate Matt Gaetz, just like we discussed before, the whole town is turning against him. I agree with Tom that because they know what kind of person he is, and they know what kind of power he will have when he becomes the AG. And of course, they know how many bad things they have done to this country. So they're scared about him. So right now, you can see a lot of information, some bad stories, some sex relationship, etc., are being reported regarding about Matt Gaetz. These are all the ways they use to keep him away from the power, from the AG. Well, we'll see. And one thing Tom discussed is president has the power to nominate the some certain position, but it's not a permanent position, like 4 years appointment. It's just temporarily. We actually talked about that yesterday in our program, but that's a Chinese program. We talk about how the president can use that power to put the people that he wants to on the position. Total is 420 days in a position. So we'll see what happens. And my understanding is, in order to use that power as a president, he does not need any support from the Congress nor the House. And Tom explained that this understanding is maybe not that quite right. So I will double check with him in what kind of situation the president has the power to use to put the temporarily a nominee to put the person on the position. So I'll double check with him. It's a law issue. Yeah, we'll wait and see. And about Soros, his son, Alexander Soros, I think he's threatened to American people, and he just mentioned other pandemics. And then Tom think that they do not have the support team like Anthony Fauci in the position to cooperate with them to have this kind of evil action towards American people. I agree with that. However, do we have another supporter force to Soros for the pandemic? I don't think Fauci is the only person. So maybe there are some other people around the world can do that for them. So we'll see. And because we are at a very special period of time right now, it's transferred the power. And the Democrats, especially Joe Biden, already show the friendly attitude to how to help President Trump for a smooth power transition. He's saying very good words, and he shows his friendly smile, and he just show his attitude or his intention to help Trump, to help the transfer of power, which looks really good. But we all see what happened 5 days after. He actually gave the Ukraine the power of using the authority to use the 300-kilometer missile, which is long-range missile, to increase the power, the wall. So what they are doing are different than what they are saying. We see that for a long time. We'll see what's going to happen. So we have to prepare for the worst, even though we win the election. President Trump win big in the election, doesn't mean they want to give out their power. Okay, so let me see if our audience have any questions, so we can maybe ask Tom when he come back. All right. Grace, how are you? Excellent. Thank you. Hi, Tom. 张弛有度。你好，好，Lily Cho。我们只赢得了第一阶段的胜利，大家要保持警醒，继续努力。Yes. MAGA is not easy. That's right. Make American great again is not easy. We've just begun. Yeah, I agree. Totally. 优怡 Hello, 优怡小严，加州和宾州还在计票. They're still counting the ballot. California and Pennsylvania. Something happened in Pennsylvania. It's really interesting. And they keep counting the illegal ballots, which the court already ordered that you cannot count the ballot came after the election day. You can't. It's illegal. But the Democrats at the Pennsylvania just don't care. They keep counting that for 10 days. It's really ridiculous. And then Republic just filed a lawsuit for them to do illegal ballot count. And then they win the lawsuit, which is good. The court issue an order that have them stop counting right now. And then what happened is they are not want to do a court's order, and they appear to court's order to a higher court, meaning Democrats do not want to listen to the court. The court have them stop. They don't want to stop. They know they finally, eventually, they have to stop, but they just don't listen to the state court. They know that if the cases go to the federal court will order the same thing, but they just don't care. They want to have more time to count the illegal votes. So it's just so lawless. It's just totally nothing to do with law and order. So Democrats, it's just go crazy right now. And California is the same thing. But California, I don't think the local republic had filed any lawsuit against them to still counting, because California has a different law than Pennsylvania, so they still count. And we already have 2-3 programs and talking about the counting, and we see that so many problems are involved, and so many illegal actions are involved. So California has a huge problem of the election in integrate. Let me see. Still waiting for Tom. And then what else? Oh, today we President Trump picks Howard Lutnick as a Commerce Secretary. So I think it's a really good choice. He lost his employee at 9/11. He lost 638 employees at 9/11. But he built up again his company and very successful. Yeah, it's a nice person. So it's a good choice. Right now, he almost have half of his cabinet already have an appoint person, but I think the 3 top cabinet member, which the Democrats and Rhino I hate the most, are Gaetz and Pete for the Secretary of the Defense, and also the Tarsi. So these 3 people are the top pick. Hey, Tom, welcome back.
Thank you.
Everything works good?
In progress.
Good. Okay.
So hopefully
good.
I won't have to stop again until after we're done. we'll
Yeah,
see.
sure. We actually pretty much done. And one thing I like to double check with you is about the deployment, the confirmation. You just mentioned that if Trump want use the power, special power, he has to have the House and the Senate on vacation at the same time.
Yeah, they have to be in recess. They
The
don't
recess,
they don't use the word vacation because they're
vacation,
working
recess.
night and day, but it's
Yeah,
recess.
recess.
Both chambers, the House and the Senate, have to be in recess. And I think it's maybe a 10-day requirement. And what's interesting about recess is that, we see them go on recess during the summer months and take weeks off. We
Mhm,
see them go on recess during the holidays, Thanksgiving, and now we have, Christmas and New Year and other holidays coming up. But by
mhm,
time January starts and the chambers are sworn in and everything, and the president is sworn in January
mhm,
20th, by time that happens, there's no real lengthy recesses. I think maybe spring break. I'm not sure. But
mhm,
McConnell, during Trump's first term, McConnell technically said, we're never going to be in recess.
mhm,
Even though we're not in the chambers, we're not working, we're not there, everybody's on the beach, but don't call that recess.
mhm,
And so he basically prevented Trump from
mhm.
recess appointments during his first presidential term. So
Right.
now, we'll see what happens now between Thune and Johnson, the Speaker of the House.
Mhm,
What happens now? Even if Trump gets a recess appointment, it's
mhm.
only good for the remainder of the term of the House that's in. So it's good for so many days. It's not, a lengthy, that person can't be in power 4 years unless they're reconfirmed or go through actual confirmation. So, so we'll see what happens in the weeks ahead.
Sure, sure. Yeah, because I saw the Constitution at the second chapter of the Constitution that said he and is referred as president, he may on extraordinary occasions convene both houses or either of them, and in case of the disagreement between them with respect to the time of adjournment, he may adjourn them to such time as he shall think proper. That means if they cannot have agreement on the recess, the president has the power to order some kind of recess. Is
Well,
that
we'll
would
see. We'll see how effective that would be or how he can do it. Don't
okay,
forget, Trump has just won the biggest landslide election in decades.
right,
Now, the question comes up with some of the candidates he's nominated. How much political capital does he want to give up to have his way? How much capital does he want to give up? How bad does he want Matt Gaetz to be attorney general? Or so, who is probably the most controversial of all the picks.
right,
So we'll see. And we haven't heard yet who his pick for FBI director is going to be
yeah,
and that nomination process. So it could be that Trump is willing to really engage in a big fight to get who he wants, or it could be that he's sending out these nominations now, waiting to see how much opposition there really is against him, and whether he uses that as the art of negotiation. Say, well, I'll withdraw Gaetz if you give me something
right,
else, and if
right.
they want to do that. So we'll have to wait and see exactly what's going to happen here.
Right. I agree with your point. Yes, that might be the way that Trump is using right now. And one of our audience said, yes, we win the election, but this is the first step. We have so many steps ahead of us. MAGA is not easy.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So let's make it a little bit short today because you have something to do. I really appreciate your time and then yeah, your insight. I'll translate that into Chinese later today.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
thank you very much for having me. I'm sorry for all the
That's okay. Well,
interruptions here at my house.
yeah, thank you so much for spending time with us at your busy schedule.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you. See you next week, maybe.
Yes, next week.
All right. Thank you.
Do you want to make the 3 p.m. time the more permanent time that we use every week?
Yeah, I
3
think so.
p.m. my time?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah, it's good for you, right?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much and happy holidays.
Okay. Happy holidays. See you later.
See ya.